big dick athlete. Hey, why don't you work down here, you know?
Eat a dick.
That did not feel good.
In a time where all podcasts are the same, two guys have decided that enough is enough. This is the League of UNextraordinary Gentlemen.
Welcome, loyal listeners and viewers, to the newest episode of the League of UNextraordinary Gentlemen. This is season 2. This is episode 3, maybe 4.
No,
Nobody
it's 4.
knows anymore.
It's 4.
Nobody knows, least of all Eric.
It's 4.
Don't touch that. How many fucking times have we done this?
It's 4.
You
There.
almost poked your eye out with that thing, and you're wearing glasses. What are you?
There. I just can't get it right. See, yours is in front of your face.
Because I adjusted it before we started the show.
It's not supposed to be in front of your face.
What do you mean?
Then the listeners can't
I don't care.
see you.
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
I want them to hear it.
All right.
I don't care.
Good thing you could hear it.
Eric, let's start the show off by talking
Let's do
about
it.
your physical ailments. You
Okay.
had some sort of sinusectomy, and we want to know what happened to your slits. There were slits involved. It sounded all so very interesting. You couldn't do the podcast last week, but you could play guitar and sing Wagon Wheel and send me clips of it a day later. So I'm really concerned. I'm sure you're all the way laid up. Please tell us about your recovery process.
No, it's usually the evenings is when I start to spiral.
Like now.
Like right now. Like I'm fucking loopy as hell. Like I just want to go lay down. My weary head.
Did they give you pain meds?
No. I'm all hopped up on ibuprofen. You know how that
They
is.
didn't even give you pain meds?
No.
How serious could the surgery have been if they don't
Well,
give you
it's
pain
like-
medication
so-
of any kind?
So no. So it's somewhat non-invasive, but they still knocked me out. Like anesthetic, anesthetized
That's the word.
me.
Yeah, those people make a lot of money.
They
by the
do,
way.
and I like it. So the surgery happened on Friday before Memorial Day weekend, and I went in. You're just nervous. I'm like, you go in, you lay on this bed, like you feel like you're going into
What's this surgery called again?
It's called turbinate reduction.
You had your turbinates reduced.
I had my turbinates reduced.
What's a turbinate?
A turbinate is up in your nose. It's like up in your sinuses. There, it's like a pack of hot dogs up in there.
Yeah, this sounds made up.
And
yeah, sure.
And mine are so swollen,
Check
and
out
yours
this-
are too, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Check out this snake oil I got around
And
back.
they're like-
It's going to help you.
And they're like fingers, and they're supposed to have spaces, and when they're too close, they go in. And I thought they like lasered them out and kind of like gave them more space. But I was like laying there one night where I couldn't sleep, and I was like, I'm curious of what they did. So I found a video on the internet.
Yeah.
And they actually go in and they just kind of like stab it, and then it's like they liposuction it.
They
where
sucked
kinda
out your
suck-
turbinates?
They sucked out the innards of my turbinates in there.
Eric, it sounds like a sci-fi novel.
It looked like
I
it
had
too.
my turbinates sucked
Like
out
watching
of
the
my
camera
nose.
go into the dude's nose, it was like wild. It was wild.
Well,
so,
I'm so glad you're all right. I was so worried about your turbinate reduction surgery.
it's been. I mean, dude, they knocked me out. I remember laying on the bed on the like operating table, and you're not allowed to eat. And she goes, "All right, I know you're not gonna like that I'm talking about food, but I'm gonna wrap you up like a burrito." And I was like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was a dad joke.
Did you just watch a lot of movies about noses and nose drugs afterwards? Like, did you watch Blow?
No, I mean, I did a couple weeks prior to.
Yeah, you were talking because Justice for Johnny.
Right.
You know, Johnny
Right.
Johnny
Right.
wins.
Justice for
Eric
Johnny.
gets his turbinates
Got 'em
removed.
reduced.
This
not
is a big
removed.
win for men. You know,
It has
these
been.
last few weeks
It has
have been huge wins for us.
So-
for us white guys. Lord knows we needed a few.
So at the end of the day, I was laying in bed. I don't know. I was just fucking delirious. And I just remember laying there. And usually they get there like, count down from 100. And you hit 99, and you're like, out, cold. Like they fucking hit you with it. Well, I'm laying there, and they got me all wrapped up. And I'm just like, and I just was like, this is so weird. I mean, it is. The room is just weird. It's cold.
Yeah, they're ripping
It's
your
an
turbinates out.
It's just weird, and there's somebody like up above you. It's the anesthesiologist.
Well, this isn't a real surgery or ailment. So you're,
right.
you're
so
obviously in some fucking
it's like, am I
going to
wake
studio.
up missing a kidney or what's happening here? So no, she's just like, well, imagine what it's like for me. I'm an anesthesiologist. When I get put under, I know everything they're doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that would be pretty weird.
Yeah, but you make like $300,000 a year.
I know.
Those people make absurd money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, your life is literally in their hands.
I get it. I'm not saying it's not a profession that would require, but I don't want to hear complaints about your job.
Right.
If
No,
you're
she
an
wasn't complaining. She was
anesthesiologist.
just like, I know everything's going on. I was like, oh yeah, that would be weird. And she's like, are you an anesthesiologist? And I was like, no.
That was that.
That was it. And I just got to thinking about it later in the day. I was like laying in bed, and I got to laughing so hard because I'm like, can you imagine being a fly on the wall just watching that interaction? And it's just like, if I was the anesthesiologist, that would just be so fucking funny to just somebody in mid-sentence and I just hit the plunger and they're out.
That's good. That'd be a good profession. You'd be the worst. You'd be the absolute worst. Well, mostly because once people were asleep, you'd fondle their privates. But otherwise,
now they're in a giant burrito. You can't access that.
They make you think that to feel safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I must have got fondled.
My noose hurts. I don't know why I said it like that.
Weird.
Oh,
so yeah, I'm on the road to recovery.
That's
I don't know.
great.
I don't know. We'll find out how this goes.
I'm glad to
Hopefully,
hear that.
it helps things
I
out.
actually got out and about this past weekend. I really felt like COVID was finally over for some reason.
Even though it's allegedly spiking.
I guess it is, and I got it a few weeks back, and my wife got it. It's going around. But I went to see the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
I was excited because they've called up Adley Rutschman. He's like the best prospect in baseball.
Catcher, right?
And remember when I went to see the Mavericks a few months ago when I went to see Luka Doncic.
Oh no!
And I was like, man, I just got one game. I'm going.
Oh, this
and
is
they
funny.
held him
I know
out.
What's happening?
Yeah, and I get there. It's like the game's at 4, and we meet at
4:05.
Yeah, we meet at Pickles at
regular for baseball.
We meet at Pickles at 3, and my 3 buddies are like, "Hey, Rushman's out tonight. Did you hear?" I was like, "What?"
Oh.
They just held him out. So I'm just not allowed to see
pro ball
players that I want to see. The game was actually pretty good. They moved that left field wall back. It's kind of weird, because it's like this little box almost.
Yeah.
It just looks really odd, but they hit a couple home runs. They won.
Couple home runs.
The stadium, get this. I don't know if you know this. The stadium has gone completely cashless.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I've discovered that about a month ago I went to a game.
You can't even buy a beer in the stands from the guys that, like the vendor guys that walk around. You got to give them like a Venmo.
I've got a loophole for you, my friend.
What is it?
So you apparently did not watch the episode
I
that
told you
did
I didn't
by
watch
myself.
that. I told you that.
So for you listeners, sorry, I'm going to put you through this again. Didn't pay attention. I went. And,
I wasn't here.
I wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Brett Hollander for hooking up some tickets for us for that episode.
I didn't have anybody from the Orioles organization. I'm
So,
just a hard-working sales guy, spending my own money, giving it to the O's, helping the city.
So I go in because it's a game. I took cash because it's just easier, right? And I walk up to go get some beers, and I was at the very end, and the guy was just kind of acting weird, and it was loud, and he kind of there was a cup, and he just kind of tapped it, and I was like, oh, I know what's happening here. He saw the cash in my wallet, knew that's what I wanted to pay with, and was like, just stick it in this cup right here. So I knew what was going on, so I slid it in the cup real smooth like.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want 3 beers and some hot dogs. And so I loaded it up, and I didn't slide in. Yeah, I told him what I wanted. He told me how much it was, like $40. And I'm like, oh, that's a deal. Stuck it in there. And he did something, and he came over and did a little spin around move, took that and pocketed that cash, right? And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I mean, I know it's happening, but that was interesting.
Yeah, he's keeping that money.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
So and by the way, I could only order 2 beers at a time.
Yeah.
And the third one, he's like, don't open this, just stick it in your back pocket. I'm only supposed to give you 2 beers at a time.
Oh, wow. He gave you extra beer, too.
And he hooked me up, right?
Man, did this guy want to fuck you or what?
Apparently.
This is insane.
So I walked away going, man, I got a deal. But I don't understand. And it took me a while to realize that it was all cashless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that guy saw I had cash and knew what I was doing. They had a system down.
Oh, they know what they're doing. They're going to circumvent it.
And
well, you know what was funny is we were ordering drinks, and it does the opposite. We didn't care what anything costs because they just don't even fucking tell you. Like they're just like 2 beers. Here's your card. Ring it up.
Yeah,
See ya, keep it, or you tap it.
What does it matter? Are you going to say
yeah,
no?
that's what it was. Yeah, because I asked Jess, I was like, "Hey, what'd your drink cost?" Out of curiosity, he's like, "I don't fucking know." He had like one of these liquor drinks or whatever.
Oh God!
One of the liquor drinks was in a souvenir cup. It is $38.95. We didn't get it, but it wasn't even like super big either. There's a $40 drink there.
And I bet it had an exact ounce
Yeah.
of fucking liquor in
I don't know. I paid $16 for some sort of liquor drink. It was like a rum punch or something.
Was it orange?
It was like a fuchsia color. I don't know.
They should make it orange.
I was pretty hammered. I was a little tuned up by the time we left. Pretty tuned. So then we left the game, Eric, and now I have some disappointing news for the rest of the evening.
Uh-oh.
We decided, hey, we're a couple gentlemen. Okay, we're a couple gentlemen out and about on the town.
We're on the prowl.
What better place to go? Jesse's lady was out of town, right? And he goes, "I want to go to the strip club." I said, "I am your man."
That's so interesting because he's not a big strip clubber goer.
Hey, his girlfriend's out of town. He said, "I want to go to the strip club."
Go
I
Jess.
said,
Go
"Don't
Jesse.
have to fucking threaten me with a good time."
Shit.
Right? I said, "Hop in the whip." He goes, "Let's go to the Wagon Wheel." You know, Sean, have you ever been? Yeah.
Right into the 12-foot
Wagon
end of
Wheel,
the pool.
yeah. Think of the Wagon Wheel. It's off of Route 40. It's not on 40. It's like off 40. You got to take one side.
Went out of your way.
Got to take. We were downtown. You got to take one side road, and then you get over to the Wagon Wheel. And Wagon Wheel is like your buddy's basement. Like there's like a pole, but think of it as just like it's like a shitty.
Wasn't it like a double wide trailer?
No, it was a building, but it just wasn't very nice. And it was like $15 to get in, but it was BYOB. It was really all hands on deck with the girls. Like you can, touch really whatever you wanted. Lap dances there were a joy, let's just say. When I was a younger and single man, it was a heck of a good time. And I thought, well, let's go relive our youth. Yeah. I try. And so we go over and I pull off of Route 40. And it was like 10:15 at night on a Saturday, and I pull into the parking lot, and everything was boarded up. COVID took away.
The COVID is what shut it down.
It had to be. I mean, what else could have destroyed a place where people have to go in
like
for touching?
Overgrown and real creepy looking?
No, it was just gone, Eric. The Players Club at Wagon Wheel is no longer in existence. So then I said, well, hey, let's just run up to the Gold Club straight down the street. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that'll be a good time. Mm-hmm. And then we went into the Gold Club, and it was a Saturday.
It's really disappointing.
It was a Saturday at 10:30, and there was probably all of 8 people in there.
Yeah.
I think strip clubs are just failing. I think the rise of OnlyFans and just the way things are in today's like on-demand world. I was shocked to go to what I would believe to be one of the more popular strip clubs.
Gold Club used to be like the place.
On a Saturday night at 10:30.
Although
God.
I can never say I've ever been there when it's been like hopping.
This was sad. I mean, this should have been the best night of the week. And
I'm not going to lie to you. The Ritz Cabaret is in Baltimore. That's going to be your best.
It probably
hands
was.
Down.
I'm just telling you, the 2 strip clubs over on Route 40 that I tried to go to, one was closed and the other seemed well on its way.
Yeah.
It's just, I felt
they're making money at Chaps, dude. Chaps is probably cleaning house.
We were only in the Gold Club for like 10 or 15 minutes before we looked at each other. We're like, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
How much did you pay to get into that?
I don't remember, $15 or something.
Okay.
And so I go to pay my tab, and then one of these like busted ass strippers walks up to me, and she's like, "Oh, what are you just got here? You leaving?" And I was like, "Well, I'm going to get some more people, because I got more friends, and then we're coming back." And she was like, "All right, see you later." I was not coming back. That was all a complete lie.
You lied to a stripper.
I did. I lied right to her face.
You lied to a stripper.
And then I drove up here, not far from where we're doing this podcast, and I went to Das Beer Hall and finished off the evening there and had a lovely time.
Hey,
just a lovely
you can't
time.
go wrong there. You're not going to see titties.
No, I had my fill, though. I had my fill.
A lot of good food and beverage options.
I felt bad for the strippers.
Well, they chose their profession, so.
Well, I hadn't been to Das Beer Hall since I had gone with you guys, so, it was
We're
a fun
reliving
time.
the glory. Wasn't quite as much fun. We weren't there.
No, but one of the bartenders is a friend of mine now, Roki. Remember Roki? He was on the bachelor party.
Oh, no shit.
Short guy, yeah.
He's bartending there?
He's a bartender there.
Wait,
now, yeah.
I thought he lived, not in this general area.
He just bought a house somewhere. It doesn't really matter. I told him for the last 3 weeks, I said, when I walk in there, here's what I'm going to do.
He was there with us the last time we went.
I said, when I walk in there in the next 3 weeks, once you started, here's what I'm going to do. No matter what you serve me, I said, I'm going to hand you $100. Okay? I said, you can charge me for whatever you want. Whatever you don't charge me for, you keep the rest.
Is yours.
So you charge me whatever you want. Well, I walked in there hammered, and I think Jesse paid the whole tab. Like, and we only had like 4 or 5 beers, and I was like, here's your $100. And I think I just gave him $100, like, on top of I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I did the same thing at our last comedy show with the bartender.
No, it doesn't make me feel good at all. We're just handing money away.
Except, hold on, we didn't pay a tab, though. It was just straight up tip. Cash tip.
Cash tip. Cash tip.
Just greasing the
Well,
wheels
that's
for
good.
more
And then
business
you've got some sort of note in here about a local mailman and a woman brawling.
Well, I wanted to ask you, this happened to be in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, okay.
Down there in Severn Park.
Yeah, they're different places, but that's fine.
Or, I'm sorry, Pasadena.
Yeah, that's a little north of me.
That's close to you.
That's like Essex. That's like Essex on the
it's
beach.
Anne Arundel County down there.
Yeah, we're down in Anne Arundel.
There was a fight recently here within the last week between 2 mail carriers.
No shit.
They were running their little mail carrier Jeeps up and down the street, bumping into each other like they were bumper tagging. It was a male and a female. It got to the point where she started throwing mail at him, like from her truck. There was mail astrew all over the place. It was wild. I watched the news report, and one of the witnesses, she was just talking about it, just as serious as could be, and she goes, "It was a mess." That was
Sure it was.
That was what she said, and it was a mess. They got arrested. 911 was brought in. But that's all that they've released. I think they're keeping this thing hush-hush because, yeah, there's a lot of laws that were broken there. You can't throw mail around like that.
You can't throw mail? You can't throw mail? You can't triple stamp a double stamp?
No, but they were bumping, slamming into each other with these vans. Those little things are like carts, man.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
Little teeny little bike tires on them.
I would have loved to have seen this cage match between these 2 mail carriers.
I want to know what the fuck they were fighting so aggressively about.
Yeah.
Like, man, you delivered my mail on your route. You don't do that.
Man, I like how southern they became.
I know.
Where is this? Georgia?
Pasadena.
It's Severna Park, Eric.
It's right down there
We're
in
still
Pasadena.
above the Mason-Dixon line.
It's right down there in Pasadena, Anne Arundel County.
What is this listener feedback thing that someone sent out?
Oh, okay.
There's some sort of smut you said here?
So
Some sort of smut site?
So our listener, Shryan Monair.
Why do you do people's real names? I don't understand. Why? Did they tell you to hide their identities?
I don't know. It's fun.
I'm just wondering.
He put me on his. It was an unextraordinary smut site that I had to let our listeners know. We found some more unextraordinary things in our lives.
Well, don't give me this wee shit.
It's called feetfinder.com.
Yeah, that is all you guys.
And boy, I was like, I gotta just check it out.
Of course you did.
I'm not into that.
Yeah,
but,
of course not, but you might be. You gotta give it a try. How do you know if you don't like it?
Hey, you gotta try everything.
I know I
at
don't
least
like
once.
feet. I know that 100%. I don't okay. I don't give you any shit if you do like feet.
And look, I don't like to pass judgment. It's not like I got great looking feet. But damn.
No, you don't.
There were some feet on there that I'm like, I should be getting paid to look at this shit. It is, and man, there's a lot. It's quite the site. I mean,
is Feet Finder so you can find profiles on OnlyFans?
It's like OnlyFans for just feet.
Well, because there are people that have their own like OnlyFans. Just that's all they do is they do foot fetish work.
This is just feet.
This is Feet Finder because there's like a thing called I think Only Finder where you can look up profiles for people on OnlyFans. Is this Feet Finder for OnlyFans or there's a whole different?
No. It's own,
there's a whole separate website and network.
OnlyFans has not purchased Feet Finder yet.
Feet Finder is its own thing.
It's his own thing.
Okay, I'll make sure to never, ever go there.
You're not missing anything.
Oh, man.
I can
Eric
attest to
has
that.
it queued up on his bookmarks and his favorites.
It was
Well, speaking of things that we do like to watch, let's get the foot fetish porn out of my mouth. I'm going to wash that taste out with some Crest. You liked it. Eric, we've been watching some shows. You told me you had some things to catch up on while you were going to be laid up. So before I let you speak, let's go down the list. Eric, did you watch The Batman?
I did watch The Batman.
Thoughts on The Batman?
It was long.
It was long.
Shit.
It was long.
I thought, oh man, what's his name?
Just name the character.
Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
He did an impressively good job.
You think Bruce Wayne would probably be sort of an emo-y kind of, that was probably who he would be.
I mean,
if his parents died when he was a kid.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Hair. Did you hear all the Nirvana in there? He was supposed to be very emo.
Yeah, no, I thought that, like, the soundtrack was good.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. He was very dark, very, like, distant. I think he just played that dark role very, very well.
Like he was autistic.
But he was also really good at being badass, too.
He did
like,
a good
I
job.
was... Like, I didn't think he had the jawline for the mask, but it worked. He pulled it off.
He sure did, though.
He bulked up somewhere.
He sure did. He was handsome.
He was doing it.
He was a handsome man. How'd you like Paul Dano in the role of the Riddler?
I mean, he was fucking
right?
creepy as shit.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Emily doesn't like horror movies, and I mean, it was the first opening scene where he's just standing behind the fucking guy in his own house, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking creepy. And she's like, ew, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie.
No, you won't like it, Emily.
But she did. She stuck it out.
Good.
She stuck it out. We had to watch it in a couple of different sittings because it was
long.
It was long, and
I broke it up at home. That's what I did.
We watched it. It was like I watched like a mini series. I watched it in an hour at a time.
Different than any Batman flick you'd seen, though, right? More detective film than say big budget action flick.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
And I thought the Penguin was phenomenal.
Yeah, Colin Farrell knocks it out of the park.
Colin Farrell really knocked it out.
Wouldn't have known it was him. Do you know they based his look off of Fredo from The Godfather Part 2?
Oh, really?
The brother, the dipshit brother that betrays him. That was what his facial looked. So if he looked familiar, that was actually based.
Emily,
because
she was like, I can't believe that's him, and I'm like, yep.
He's a handsome man.
Catwoman, she was.
Yeah,
she was hot.
You gave it a 7. Looks like you gave her a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Power of the Dog. Let's talk about that.
Oh man, I fucking hate you.
Did you get to the end? Did you see the twist?
You for making me watch this motherfucker.
How about the twist? Did you get to the twist?
Yes, I got to the fucking twist.
The whole movie, you thought Benedict Cumberbatch was going to kill that kid, and at the end, that kid kills him.
I don't know. At one point...
Yes, 100% that kid poisoned him with the rope.
No, it wasn't fucking... No, there's goddamn holes in it.
No, the kid... it was with the rope. He poisoned him with the rope.
I know how he fucking did it, but he could not have fucking I think it just kind of happened right at the very end.
100%
How? Because how did he know
go back
the
and watch it
mom
again.
was going to go fucking give away all the fucking...
Now you got to go back and watch it.
No, I'm not watching that again.
You got to go back and watch
There's no way that he planned that the mom was going to give away all the fucking leather pelts to the Indians. Like, that was just like a fucking happenstance.
Do you or don't you know? You may know, but you may not.
She was a fucking drunk, man. Like,
you got to go back and watch it now.
No. No.
Anyway, did you see the twist coming? I certainly didn't. I thought that changed the whole movie.
No, I definitely thought they were gonna fucking. I was like, is this gonna be fucking Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like it was setting up to be.
That's
and then that
what
kid
it was.
seduced him and brought him in and killed him, and it was awesome.
Like, I felt really bad for what was his character's name?
Cumberbatch.
Was it?
You felt bad for? See, I think that's the thing too. I felt bad for him. We weren't supposed to feel bad for him. There was a lot of.
Well, yeah, but he was a fucking dick. But then
I know
he like turned it around, and then he was like. He took him under his wing.
I agree.
And then he was like, a mentor to. And then he was like, cool, I can talk to this gay guy about my gay relationship with Bronco. Like, this is cool.
We felt that way because we're like, we like the rough and tumble like male types. I think most people that came away from that movie were like, good, he got what he deserved. And you and I were sitting here like, I don't know, he seemed like a pretty good dude. And I don't think we were
harboring a lot of homosexual fucking like.
I don't think we were supposed to walk away from that movie going that guy. But I agree with you.
I was just like, the part two.
Phil. His name was Phil.
I'm like, how the fuck? Because the other thing too. How could he? That was the one.
Yeah, hey, you're yelling.
That was the thing. I was
Take
so
it down a
pissed.
notch.
I was so pissed.
Yeah, you're spiking over there.
Dude, I was
Lord.
so pissed. So, no. Here's where I'm shooting holes in this motherfucker. How could he have made him cut his hand? He didn't make him cut his hand. He got it, like, hooked on that piece of fucking wood that they both picked up.
Maybe there's two other things. He just saw what was happening and took advantage of the situation.
But
maybe he was going to kill him any way he could, and that's what presented
But
himself.
he'd already gone and cut the cow up with the anthrax before they had done that.
Because he's a weirdo, and he was trying to test it to see if it worked. He was obviously interested in medical things with animals.
Like, there was a point, too, when she walked in, he had that rabbit busted open on his desk. And
yeah,
I was like,
he's a weirdo.
I was like, oh, dude, what's your fucking deal?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Like, they're fucking making fun of you because you're gay. I'm making fun of you because you're a fucking psychopath. Like,
right, Eric.
Like, that was a red flag to me.
I know. You yelled at me that you hated this movie, but you're debating it and raising your voice like it's the fucking thing you're the most passionate about all night. So you're welcome. I know. It changes the way you think. You had to think about it.
Wait. How did it get the fucking name? Like, that's the other part, too.
Because they read that Bible verse at the end, and that's your last clue that he did it on purpose. It's all about the power of the dog was essentially what he did to.
But I missed, like, I was so fucking pissed at that point that I missed. I was like, what the fuck? He's reading the goddamn Bible now? This is horseshit.
So you're going to have to watch it again.
No, I'm not fucking spending 2.5 more hours watching that shit.
All right, moving along.
Emily didn't even want to watch. She's like, what the fuck is this?
I know. Sunday I watched that movie, and the whole time, really, is anything ever going to happen?
Well, I couldn't watch it all at once because it was making me uneasy. I was like,
is anything ever going to happen in this movie? And then finally something happens. I was like, oh, it's not what I thought was going to happen. Now I got to watch this again.
Fucking kid.
Let's see. What else were you supposed to watch? Did you watch Winning Time, the Rise of the Lakers?
No, I almost clicked on that a couple times, but I didn't get around to that one yet. Can I? By the way, can I give my rating for Power of the Dog?
Sure.
4.
Okay.
Fucking 4.
Great. And then what about any of the what ifs?
Maybe a 6 now that we're
yeah, it seemed like you were a little more passionate about it.
I think I needed to talk to somebody, but like I did. I got to the end. I was like, I'm so confused right now.
I know. Me too. Look, Eric, that's why I was like, you have to watch this movie because for 90% of it, I was like, man, I'm uncomfortable and it's just nothing's ever fucking happening. And then everything happened in those last 10 minutes, and that's what we're debating.
God damn it. Poor Phil, man.
Yeah.
I really feel bad for Phil.
All right. You know,
really turned a new leaf.
And I'm all caught up on Saul. Howard's dead. That was the big death.
Yeah. Did you see it coming?
A little bit. I knew Howard and or Kim was going to be dead. I didn't know how.
When we talked, though, you thought I was saying it was going to be Kim.
I thought Howard and Kim
would
be dead before the Breaking Bad started, just because they're not in Breaking Bad. And yeah, I figured they're too prominent. Now, did I see the way it happened coming? No.
I mean, it was just fucking like boof.
And you know what's really pissing me off about these shows now is because I was like, oh man, cannot wait to see what's happening next. And they're taking a fucking like month off until July. That's part one of season.
But it's all recorded. It's all filmed.
It is, but I just didn't. I don't want to sit there and wait a goddamn.
No, I don't either. Just thank God that we have to wait for him to film this shit.
Well, they're just dragging it out because it's the last season.
I know it's just such bullshit.
Yeah, now we gotta wait. And then I won't remember what's going on. I'll have to watch
it
6
pisses
recaps.
Emily off because we'll like pick something. I'm like, can we just watch the last fucking episode so that I can get back up? So I'm not sitting here going, what the hell's happening?
I'll tell you what I'm watching is ObiWan Kenobi.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Have you seen any of ObiWan Kenobi?
Not yet.
Do you like Ewan McGregor?
Of course I do.
Yeah, it's good. It takes place in between like the after the third movie, like where he becomes Darth Vader, where Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it's between the third and the fourth episode.
Yeah, it's in between there when like Luke and Leia are little kids, and there's a whole one last adventure. Vader's in it, all kinds of cool.
Compared to the Mandalorian, what say you?
It's much more in the continuity of this. They're both great. Mandalorian's its own entity, and I think it's done some cool new things with the Star Wars mythos, and I think this is more fan service. So it's very tonally like those prequel movies that Ewan McGregor was in. It's good. Episode 3 had some things I was waiting for to get a little bit of a slow burn, but ObiWan's good. I think there's only going to be 6 episodes. It's like
literally that's it.
It's like the lost.
It's
movie.
one season, 6 episodes.
Yeah, but it's got all the actors from the movies and shit. It's like one of the movies. It's like a long movie.
I'm just getting clarification to make sure I'm understanding.
No, it's like a one-off. Instead of doing
I'm fine with that.
A 2-hour movie, they're doing a 6-hour miniseries.
I mean, I've said that a lot of times where they've made these movies. Where I'm like, they should have just done like a miniseries. They could have really delved into some shit.
Well, you should do Obi-Wan. You're a Star Wars
I'm going to
fan.
be into it. Trust me.
It's pretty cool. I would recommend it. And what else? Oh, The Boys is back.
Yeah, I haven't started it, but I'm letting it build up a few episodes because I hate.
They put 3 out right out of the gates.
Okay. Oh, they gave us 3.
Yeah, and then it's coming out on Fridays.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's what we did. We watched the first 2, and then we watched the third one like a night or 2 ago, and then the next.
How do you rate this season so far?
The Boys is flawless.
Right.
I mean,
I already watched the trailer for it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so they're going to be introducing. It's just playing in the background, and you saw some of the previews. They're introducing a new team called like Payback, which is like the Avengers. So there's a character called Soldier Boy who's like Captain America, and so there's like a whole new team that they're introducing, and they have this new compound where you can get superpowers for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so the boys, in the comic book, in the graphic novel, Billy and Huey and all of them have superpowers. So the show is, I think, starting to tie into that a little bit.
Gotcha.
That's how they fought him.
It's cool that they had the prequel-ish build up to that versus starting right at that.
Anyway, I can't recommend The Boys enough.
Yeah. I remember when I first started, I was like, another fucking superhero movie. And like 2 minutes in, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's the best show
so
going,
good.
I think.
So
Especially
good.
all these superhero shows.
Before we move on, speaking of superheroes, I was a big fan of Venom and had never watched Venom Carnage.
I watched half of it today at lunch.
And I gave it.
I knew it was going to be bad.
My rating.
I knew it was going to be bad. What did you expect?
The way the first one ended, I was like, I wanted more. Like, I really liked that interaction between Brock and Venom.
I think
was really funny, but then they almost overdid it.
Venom just can't decide what it wants to be. Like, if they want to be horror or comedy or action, and they don't do any of them really well. That's the problem.
Right.
Like, you could do a version of all of that. But they don't lean into any of it.
With Woody Harrelson in it, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, and it didn't make any sense how he became Carnage. I don't know. It's just all these fucking CGI symbiotes fighting each other, which isn't. I don't know. It's just not that interesting.
It just it was like him and Brock were like fighting, and they were bitching and bickering the whole time, kind of like us. And I was like. This is just, come on, you're dragging this. I get it. Y'all are in fucking contention with one another. Yeah, great. You made the point. Move on.
That's all these Fox Spider-Man movies, too, is basically like, it's not Marvel making them. It's people that don't really understand the properties.
Right. They just think we're going to make money off of
Yeah, they're like, this is, Venom's like, you can't really have Venom without Spider-Man. It doesn't really make sense.
Right.
And they're doing that with that Morbius movie, which was.
Dude, I want to watch that one, but I just don't want to pay for it.
Morbius is so bad. Listen, so they
I wonder why.
Top Gun Maverick is now Tom Cruise's highest grossing film. It made $83 million at the box office last week.
Wow. I mean, I've heard only raving reviews about it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be awesome. Now, Morbius, they re-released it in theaters because there was these memes going out that said it's Morbin time. And people, and so Sony was like, it's getting like a refresh in popularity because of the memes. Let's re-release it in theaters. So I just told you what the Tom Cruise Top Gun. Yeah, that did $83 million last weekend. The re-release of Morbius, gross in the U.S., did $400,000.
It didn't even hit $500,000?
It's Morbin time.
Wait, was Top Gun $83 million in the U.S. or worldwide?
I don't know. Who cares? Yeah, I mean, either way.
I mean, it's 83 fucking million.
Yeah, let's just say it's worldwide.
And he said that's his biggest.
It's already become his biggest
box office opening hit.
Yeah, that movie's in hot water. They're getting sued over somebody's 1983 real life story. There's copyright things happening. Yeah,
on the Top Gun?
Yeah.
Oh,
I read a whole article about that.
Somebody's gonna get a payout.
Yeah, or somebody's gonna get payback. You want to talk about sports?
Sure.
Jump shots. Goals. Running. Balls. Defense. Champions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marv Albert, and welcome to another edition of Statless Sports.
Thank you, Marvin. Welcome back. Now we're going to talk about some sports. There were no games. There were no games the last 2 weeks.
We don't have any updates.
Well, the world stood still. The world stood still.
It's holidays.
We heard that the league had heard that you were undergoing your turbinate reduction surgery, and they observed, as a holiday and a homage to you, they observed all games and didn't play last week. But there are some real games happening. The NBA Finals. Are you paying attention, Eric? Are you watching?
Yeah, no.
This would have been a better lead-in if you had watched the rise of the Lakers dynasty. The nemesis on that is the Boston Celtics. The Boston
I can
Celtics
never make you fucking happy, can I?
The Boston Celtics are playing the Golden State Warriors. You have the Splash Brothers and Steph Curry. The Celtics are the most winningest franchise in all of sports. I believe they have 15 championships. They could win another one. All that being said, Kobe Bryant, well, he doesn't play for the Lakers anymore, but he once played for the Lakers, Eric.
Wait, who does he play for now?
Eric, come on, don't do that. Eric, he had his jersey sell, all right? His rookie jersey had sold. He was game worn during the 96-97 playoffs. I always like to do this game with you. How much do you think Kobe Bryant's rookie jersey, game worn during his 96-97 playoffs, how much do you think it sold for?
I'm sorry, I was just trying to think of the team name he'd be playing for right now. I think it was the Grim Reapers, maybe?
This is terrible. You're doing a horrible thing right now. Horrible.
I'm sorry, restate your question, sir.
His jersey sold. How much do you think it was at auction? How much do you think it was sold for? It was a game-worn jersey from the 96-97 playoffs. All this during the background of the NBA Finals.
Oh, just recently.
Yes,
sold.
it just sold.
I don't know. Like maybe we'll say 500,000.
$2.73 million.
Wow. I almost went into the millions. I was like, nah, I don't know.
For a fucking piece of
for
cloth.
a sweaty jersey.
For a piece of cloth.
From like fucking 30 years ago.
Jesus. Do you collect anything? What's the most you've ever paid for something like that you collect? Like, what do you collect anything? Let me ask you that.
I mean, not now. I mean,
what have you ever collected?
I collect
coins,
baseball
knives,
cards and comic books.
But not now? You don't have a thing that like you collect, like shot glasses or guns?
No.
All right, the last one was for the Democrats. They were like, they asked me to ask you that question.
No. I don't collect those dirty, horrible things.
Oh man, you don't collect. What's the most you've ever paid for something?
I don't know, maybe $20
that you collect.
$30.
Like, how about a firearm? What's the most you ever paid for a firearm?
I mean, a couple $100.
How about a piece of art? Have you ever bought a piece of art?
Couple $100.
Is there any answer at any question I'm going to ask you where you don't go, look at me in my eyes and go, couple $100? What's the most you've paid for sex?
I've never paid
for
sex.
$100. Sorry, that was the last one. Was a lie.
I've never paid for sex.
Don't ever look me in my eyes and lie to me like that again. Is that what it feels like to be your wife? That sucks. Did you hear about this fantasy football fight? You were talking about the male
people fight.
There's two professional.
Oh yeah.
Two professional Major League Baseball players that got after it. Fantasy football is a popular pastime in Major League clubhouses, but a dispute between players for the Cincinnati Reds as Tommy Pham and the San Francisco Giants as Jacques Peterson reached a fever pitch yesterday. when one of them literally struck the other, like he punched him in the face. And then all the announcers came and talked to him afterwards, like, what was that about?
Wait, they just were like, what was that all about?
And they go, well, the guy goes, well, I'm the commissioner of my fantasy league. And by the way, this hits really close to home for me because I'm the commissioner of my fantasy league.
Oh, boy.
And this is all about injured reserve and the IR slots in fantasy football. Because I had a similar argument occur. I had a guy call me at 8:30 in the morning on a Wednesday and berate me and cuss me out, and then told me I was acting like a little bitch. And I was like, "Do you fucking hear yourself? Like you're crying at me about fantasy football, and you're calling me a bitch?" Like, anyway, that's my story. But so this guy, it's all over IR slots. So basically, when you put a guy on IR in fantasy football, and I'm going to clear this up for the world, right? In real life, when a guy goes on injured reserve, he's got to be out a minimum of 6 weeks.
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
It's injured reserve, and so they basically don't have to burn a roster spot. A lot of times they're out for longer than that. They're out for 8 weeks, sometimes 15 weeks, right? The injured reserve, you're out at least 6 weeks. In fantasy football, the injured reserve is if a guy is injured that week and he's listed as out, you can put him in the injured reserve slot so you don't have to drop that guy.
Right.
If he was out for 6 weeks, you'd fucking drop him anyway. That's how
Right.
fantasy football works. There's no point in keeping a guy who's going to be out for half
at
the
least
fucking
6 weeks.
season.
Right,
You drop him
right.
and you'll go pick him up off the
Right.
waiver. And like, unless he's Tom Brady. Like,
But if they're just out, they could be back the next week.
right, but you put them on injured reserve
to keep 'em.
so that you can use a roster
The
spot.
same way the
And then-
NFL uses the injured
and then when
reserve.
that guy comes back, you have to drop a guy. You can only have like 15 guys on your team. It's so you can keep a team
just like
afloat.
the NFL does.
But not at the same fucking. If you put a guy on injured reserve in the NFL, like basically the guy was arguing, and the guy in my league was arguing that if you put a person on injured reserve in fantasy, they have to be on the injured reserve in real life. But that doesn't make any sense because they'd be out 6
because
fucking
you
weeks.
would drop them from your team. Period.
So round and round we go. All I'm trying to tell you is IR destroys friendships. I fucking hate it, and they need to call it something else in fantasy football. Or in real life, because I'm telling you right now, it's getting people to come into blows on public television.
Look, for whoever this person is, I don't even do fantasy. The bottom line is this. If the fucking fantasy league allows you to do this, then it's fucking legal to do it in fucking fantasy. Like,
That's
they're
what I
actually
said.
pretty rigid with their rules.
Yeah, I was like, get mad at Yahoo, dude.
Right,
Like, what are you fucking mad at me for? I'm just enforcing the rule. I didn't make the rule up. And by the way, you're a fucking idiot if this is what you think, right? I probably shouldn't have said the last part. I escalated things.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so what happened with these pro ball players?
They're fine. They're
Did they
fine.
kiss and make
They
up?
all kissed. I mean, it's just fantasy
Slap
football.
ass, little.
I did find it hilarious. I found it so relatable. I found it so very
Oh,
relatable.
yeah. I had a fucking guy heated about that shit, too. It's ridiculous.
And then the last thing, it's Pride Month, right? It's Pride Month, and a lot of pro sports.
You know what I'm proud of?
Are you going to make some horribly off-color statement like you did about Kobe Bryant?
No.
What? What are you proud of, Eric?
You. I'm just proud of you, Stefan.
You know what I'm referring to about Pride Month. Can you stop fucking ostracizing our minority listeners?
What are you talking about?
Thanks for being proud of me, Eric. It's Pride Month.
Okay.
And I think we know what that means. A lot of pro teams. A lot of pro sports teams are showing their support. They're wearing like the LGBTQ flag or, you know, whatever it may be. And the Tampa Bay Rays were asked to do it. And the headline of this article is Tampa Bay Rays don't back gays. There were 5 pitchers that ditched the LGBT pride logo, citing faith concerns. They were staunch Christians and said, we won't support homosexuality on Pride Night.
These are all on the Tampa Bay.
Yes, and so it was. They ditched their custom jerseys and hats featuring rainbow-colored lettering, and instead opted for their standard uniform. I can wholeheartedly tell you, all 5 of these are white guys with beards. They just nailed our demographic.
No, one of them's not.
Eric,
You're a liar.
Eric, what do you think of this? Or would you, if someone didn't want to support Pride Month at Big Time in Comedy, would you?
That's their choice.
You said, but we had produced custom T-shirts, and we said we're all going to wear them on stage to support our friend Rose. You would say no? You've got gay friends, Eric.
I do, and that's anybody's choice on what they want to fucking support. I don't know.
Damn Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
I don't.
Eric, you need to move to Florida.
I mean, my body, my choice. Where's that? What's that all about? That's the same thing. You got a fucking choice. You know.
And that will conclude sports.
It's the painkillers talking.
You're not on page. Eric, time to do our last segment, the final segment. a segment we like to call Earth is Full. The Indians in the room love this. They are already looking to the stars in anticipation of who we will be sending into the ether. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm going to go with this one. So I came across this headline, and it's our boy, Mr. Zuckerberg's back in the news.
Yeah.
Metaverse. A researcher's avatar was sexually assaulted on a Metaverse platform owned by Meta, making her the latest victim of sexual abuse on Meta's platforms, Watchdog says.
I'm going to call timeout. I was all about it for a minute. I was like, no, man. Sexually assaulted her avatar? Like virtually sexually assaulted?
You heard that correctly, sir.
Can you elaborate? Did you read this article?
Yes. So it says here, even though it happened in virtual reality, the incident left the researcher to be unnamed. Disoriented. She said in the report, researcher noted her controller vibrated when male avatars touched her, resulting in a physical sensation that was a result of what she was experiencing online. One part of my brain was like, what the F is happening? The other part of my brain was like, this feels kind of good. I'm sorry, I made that up. It was like, is it a real body? And another part was like, this is important research, she said in the report. This is fucking retarded. I'm sorry.
You are saying all the wrong things tonight.
Look, it's the drug. It's the painkillers that I'm on.
You're
here.
not on painkillers. We established that. You're a terrible person. All right, so who are you kicking off?
I'm kicking this researcher off. Like, how
the
can
one
you
that was sexually assaulted?
Yes, how you can't be sexually assault your avatar? It's a fucking avatar. You can't. No, I'm sorry. Nope, she's gone. Your research is gone. You're gone.
Justice for Johnny. All right, so the one I want to talk about here. You were talking about some avatars being sexually assaulted. I want to talk about some real sexual assault for a minute. I'd like to report that our dear friend Kevin Spacey is back in the news. Oh, boy. Facing 4 more criminal charges for alleged incidents involving 3 men, this one now between 2005 and 2013. On top of sexual assault, he's also been charged with causing a person to engage in penetrative sexual activity without consent.
Was this in over in England?
This is in the UK court. Yeah. So he's an international sex offender at this point.
But he's actually doing it to people, not doing it.
Eric, are you just
in cyberspace?
You just said it like it was a positive thing. Like, no, but he's actually doing it. You understand, Stefan? He's got goals, and he gets out there and he really does it.
He's a doer.
Eric, I'm going to send you on this fucking spaceship with him if you're not careful with your next fucking words. I really like The Negotiator, and man, were there some other great movies that he was in. American Beauty was awesome, but he is a sexual monster. I'm so sorry, Kevin Spacey. Earth is full.
Right.
You gotta go.
By the way, I'm sorry. There was a section of this that gave a little more detail of the incident. Would you care to hear about it?
Yeah, sure.
For real, yes or no?
Eric, fucking read it.
Okay. So, goody. So I'm sorry. The report linked to the video. The group says shows how the avatar. In the video, a male avatar was seen getting very close to her, while another male avatar stands nearby watching. A bottle of what appears to be alcohol is then passed between the 2 male avatars. Per the 28-second video, 2 male voices are heard making lewd comments in the video. In part of the video, some of us opted not to share but describe the researcher was led into a private room at a party where she was raped by a user who kept telling her to turn around so he could do it from behind while users outside the window could see, all while another user in the room watched and passed around a vodka bottle. And then that was when the other part occurred.
Man, this is the weirdest game. Yeah, that's a weird game.
That's when it went into incident left the researcher disoriented. But I'm like, I don't understand how they're passing. I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So
this episode, as usual, has been completely unextraordinary. And thank you, Dark Continent.
Good night.
This is the League of Unextraordinary Gentlemen.
Really, I shit myself terribly.
And that's a wrap. Anybody else you want to offend? Tell the Chinese that they need to fuck off with their gas prices every